Hello, welcome to Power Moves, the podcast that gives you practical insights into what successful entrepreneurs did to accomplish their success. Here today, I have Roberto Gavilanes, owner and CEO of Bluenergy, a solar company responsible for more than 500 million in solar sales. I've known Roberto for quite some time. We have a professional relationship, but what stood out to me, Roberto, about having you on is not just your business success, but really your story from coming to America and building the success. So I'm looking forward to hearing about adaptability, your problem solving, everything that you found on what it takes to build something meaningful when you're not starting with resources or capital or necessarily any of those things. So thank you for being on today.
Well, thank you for having me, Alex. For me, it's a pleasure to be here, and you're a friend of mine, friend of the house, and happy to share with anyone all my knowledge and everything that I've gone through and how I build and how I keep building the things that I'm working on.
Amazing. Great. Well, I always love our guests to introduce themselves to our listeners. So, what can you share about yourself? Just give them context.
So, as you said, my name is Roberto Gavilanes. I'm 37 years old. I was born in Ecuador, that's in South America. I'm a big family guy. I got 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats, a beautiful wife. Um, I'm yeah, and I just work as hard as I can to make sure the ones that I love are taken care of.
I think a lot of people can share that sentiment and would want that for themselves. So, you mentioned you're from Ecuador. At what point did you move to the US? What prompted that move?
So it was back in 2017 when I moved. What prompted, I was starting a business in Ecuador and a lot of corruption handles the country. Like there, anything that you want to do, it's aligned with corruption. So at some point I just hit a wall and I just said enough is enough. At some point I had a clothing brand and I was trying to get a loan from $400,000, and the guy from the bank, which was like a government bank, like an institution that would do like small business loans, he asked me for 20% upfront commission for him to give me $100,000 loan. So I was like, if I don't have the money, that's why I'm trying to get a loan. Why are you asking me for $20,000? Like, how is this going to be possible?
Right.
So that's when I say, you
Wow.
know what, enough is enough. Like, there's like my foundations and my ethics were never aligned with corruption, and I just wanted to grow as much as I could. And I'm blessed that my mom, she's American, and at some point she told me, hey, whenever you want to come to live to the States, like I'll get your residency. And all the time I was just saying, no, mom, like like I don't think I'll ever go live there. I love visiting, but I think Ecuador is for me. And I got to that tipping point where I called my mom and said, hey, I think I'm ready. And she said, oh, like I'm happy that you're making that decision, and don't worry, I already started paperwork like 6 7 years ago. So I think God's plan is perfect and timing is perfect. And when she told me that, we checked the status, and it was literally, oh, I was next in line within the 2 or 3 months. So it was like, I thank my mom for everything that she did for me without me even telling her to do it. And
Mhm.
yeah, that got me here. When I got here, I started working door knocking with my brother Juan. We were selling windshields. Back in Ecuador, even though I had that clothing brand, I was also working for my family business. My dad owns a garage door manufacturing company, which has already like 37 years in business. So
Mhm.
at some point, I was the head of the company. I started working since I was graduated high school with him. I
Mhm.
learned a lot of stuff, and yeah, so I moved here, being having that position at my dad's company, but I wanted something bigger and something a real change.
Mhm.
And I started door knocking here, and my ego got crushed pretty quick.
Okay.
Uh, I'm
Where
thankful
did
to
you land? Florida?
I landed in Florida. Yeah, I
Okay.
lived, I think, in Jupiter to begin with. Yeah, Jupiter,
Mm,
Florida to begin with, and
got it.
yeah, I mean, I started working in sales right away.
So you went from working with your father's business, running that business, you were looking to start a fashion brand, shut that idea down once you got faced with that corruption and moved to the US, gone to door knocking. So were what was your mindset, I guess, going through all of that? What kind of led you to keep pushing through all that adversity and those
So
challenges versus just staying in Ecuador and living the life you were living?
yeah, well, it was a sports clothing brand. It wasn't a fashion clothing brand. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
anyway, when I moved to the US, to be honest with you, the day that I the day of my flight, I wasn't even packed. You know, I couldn't believe I was leaving my roots.
Mm,
I packed my stuff. You know, I remember crying. I was heartbroken. Like I couldn't believe it. I remember taking a selfie of myself at the airport just to
mm,
to picture that moment and remind myself when I'm doing this. And I'm a big writer. You know, the things that I feel, I like to write them down
mm,
because I think that's the way I just get them out of myself. And sometimes to read it helps me understanding what's going on and understanding what's coming for me and what I want to do in the future. So, funny story on the plane, I'm writing, you know, like, okay, this is going to happen, la, 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 la. And I wrote a line that says something like, today is the last day you allow yourself to suffer this way. Tomorrow will be the first day for the rest of your life.
mm.
And I don't know how that thing put like how do you call the book separator, the I just drew a huge line in my life and I
Hmm.
kind of let go everything that I was going through and say, you know what,
Hmm.
tomorrow's gonna be the first day for the rest of my life. And I just started
Hmm.
working towards it. You know, I knew the things that I wanted to achieve, I knew who I want to become, I
Hmm.
knew I had good foundations, and I just literally put my head down and worked really, really hard to get where I am right now.
Did you have a plan like before arriving in the US on what you were going to do? And as far as this door knocking thing, if whether that was planned or not, did you have to battle with any sort of ego coming down from running an organization to now being a salesperson for an organization?
No, 100%. So yeah, so the plan was always to work with my brother, and
Hmm.
at that time he
And
was
did he
living.
come with you or was he already in
No, no,
Florida?
he was already in Florida. So
Okay.
he was working for a windshield company in sales, door knocking. So he told me, "Hey, come to where I am. Let's talk to my boss, see if he wants to hire you, and see if he can hire you where you want to live. Because you know I've been so many years far away from my family and from my mom that I just wanted to kind of like have that connection again with her and to be really close to her.
Totally.
Well, she was on the other coast of Florida, so I went to Bradenton. You know, learned the craft, learned how to door knock, what to say, what not to say within a week. And I think the first week I closed like 3 deals. You know, and I said, "Huh, this thing is kind of easy." So I went to my brother's boss and said, "Hey, what do I need to do for me to work for you, but in Palm Beach County?" So I said,
Hmm.
if you can give me this, you can give me this other thing, which was finding an installer and finding, I think, something, a provider. You're more than welcome to work there. So I did that. I found an installer, found the provider for him, and it was just myself door knocking. And if people know what door knocking is, you know, when you door knock by yourself, it's brutal because it's just you against you. You have to motivate yourself. You have to be um, very consistent and very persistent with your hours. You know, like I'm thankful, you know, to have my brother who taught me this, and I just had this motto in my head was like two to stay alive. You know, I had to close at least 2 deals a day, so that was always in my head, at least 2 deals a day. So whenever I hit those 2 deals in a day, sometimes okay, it's just 2 o'clock. I mean, I could have just gone home, but I just
Hmm.
kept pushing because I knew there were days that I would have zero. So that
Sure.
those days I would get three, four, or five would compensate for the other days. So that door knocking kind of build them in that dog mentality, but also at the first moment of door knocking, it was just like, dude, like I'm running this organization back in my country. I'm used to having employees. I'm used to being treated a different way, and I was
Hmm.
just getting door slammed, insulted. I was saying, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Like it was hitting my ego so bad. I would tell my brother, like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I really can do this. And
Right.
he said, the moment that you let those words go from one ear to the other and get out, that's the moment that you're gonna get better. So I listened and I was just like, okay, you know what? Whatever you can tell me, it's not gonna hurt me. It's not gonna bother me. I'm gonna let my
Mm.
ego go. And I just kept working. At some point, I realized that everything that I was doing, I was like, why do I need to work with this company if I'm already like doing everything as kind of like a one-man job?
Sure. Makes sense.
So I didn't have management support. I didn't have leadership support. I didn't have anything with me. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to build myself this company. So that's how I started my first auto glass shop. And I was a one-man show. The only other people that I had was a subcontractor installer and then the provider. But I would sell, bill, order, and schedule. And I was able
Wow.
to sell $1 million in my first year doing that.
That's amazing. Couple of questions for you before we continue. So, yeah, I've coached door knocking teams for so many years, and I've coached sales managers or founders of these teams, and constantly what we would run into is like, if you really want to meet the ultimate rejection, it is going out door to door, because the biggest opponent you have is your own mindset, your fear of rejection, just getting out of the door, getting up the confront to knock a door and talk to people and to go at this and suck at it, because no one's typically just magically good at this
Mhm.
thing, right? I mean, it sounds like the support system with your brother really got you through it, but I'm curious if there's anything else, because it is such a tough gig to push through.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just having that winning mentality. I mean, I just wanted to win, to be honest. Like, I'm a competitor, and I just wanted to
Hmm.
win. So I would ask my brother, hey, what's the highest number that the highest amount of sales that somebody did in a weekly basis, in a monthly basis, and one of my biggest motivators that I didn't have anything. I literally came to this country with $200 in my bank account, and that's it. So it was just like I either make it
Hmm.
or I have nothing. So for me, it was just that, putting myself into that awkward situation where you have to knock someone's door, somebody's going to come out. You don't know what's going to be their personality or what's they're going to be their mood at that moment, but you just have to handle it.
Hmm.
So for me, it was just the desire to win and just knowing that, hey, it might not be this door, but it might be the next door. So it was just a keep going and never stop moving mentality for me.
I think it'd be huge props, because just that ability to keep yourself pushing, it's easier said than done, right? Because some people can say failure isn't an option. I'm going to burn the boats behind me. But like, there are other options to make money out there besides doing door knocking. And typically, because it's so difficult, it's the most rewarding financially to do that.
So let me tell you a little story, and I'm gonna try to find this picture while I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Um, when I came here and I was going through my residency process and yada yada yada, I had to go back to Ecuador for like a couple
Okay.
months, and the guy that I was working for at that moment, he I told him, hey, I gotta go back. I'm gonna be back like in 2 or 3 months, but I have a pretty big pipeline that I can just call them and maybe close them on the phone. Are you okay with that? He said, well, if you're going back to Ecuador, you know what? I'm gonna have to pay you Ecuador salary. So how does $20 per deal sound? I'm like, what? Are you like for real? So you know
Okay.
what? So when that happened, and I couldn't believe it. I just went back to work with my dad, and then when he came back, you know, I called him like, hey, I need to start working again. I started working with him. I told him like, hey, uh, you know what? I'm having a kid. My wife's pregnant, and I clearly remember this. You know, he said, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna give you a bonus. Like, cool, cool. So when the kid was born, my son was born, he gave me a bonus, and you know what the bonus was? Diapers.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, bro, this is the biggest slap on my face. So I said, you know
How
what? I'm
long
never
have
gonna.
had you been working with him for?
I think maybe like 6 to 8 months, but I brought him a lot of revenue.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna
anyway,
say.
for me, was just like, okay, like this, is how much you appreciate this relationship. Like, I don't think I belong here.
Hmm.
So when I came back from that at that moment, I was kind of like desperate. You know, I was like, okay, I just had a kid, and it just like, doubt hit my head. I was like, okay, I've been door knocking, but how can I sustain door knocking with a family? You know, I didn't know much about that. So I
Mm.
say, you know what? I might need to get a real job. So I reached out to somebody that I knew, and this person got me an interview. And this person got me an interview. I went to that interview. I was really, really happy about it. And I never got the job. I never got the job.
Mm.
Trying to look for this picture. I never got the job. But anyway, I was devastated. I was saying, what the hell am I gonna do? You know what? And then I remember taking that picture because I'm wearing a suit and holding my son and giving him a kiss. And for me, that picture means a lot because that was the day that I was told no. And that was the day you say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna bet 3,000% on myself. I'm gonna go
Sure.
ahead, open my own company, and that's when everything started.
Wow.
You know. So I, from something negative that happened,
Yeah.
I turn it and I just say, you know what? Forward is the only way. I'm
Hmm.
just gonna be laser focused, and I have no option but just to go. So, and I did it. You know, I did it. I
Hmm.
built my first company, then I partnered up with somebody else. I built a second company in Orlando in that area. And then, I lost some couple door knockers once I had a team. And then again, God's plan was perfect. Um, some of my door knockers left to sell solar at that moment.
Mm.
And at that time, also, I helped my brother open his own company, his own glass shop. I explained him how to do it. And one day I called my brother saying, hey, I just lost some reps to solar. Have you heard what is this about? I said, yeah, me too.
Mm.
I just lost some people, but they keep coming back. They're saying that they just made $10,000 in a month. I mean, it's $10,000 per deal, but they get paid 3, 4 months later.
Hmm.
So we're like, that's so weird, man. Like, I said, I wonder how much money the owner is making if these guys are making $10,000 per deal. So, at that point, that was 2019. Yeah, 2019. I told my brother, hey, you know what? This might be the time that you and I, as brothers, join forces and build this company, a solar company, and let's just attack the entire state. You're in the West
Mm.
Coast, I'm on the East Coast. Let's just go for it. So that's what we did. And again, we kept with our companies. We kept going. We built this solar company, but we didn't know what we were doing. Like, I had no idea. Again, God's plan and God's timing is perfect. Somebody knocked on my door, and I was on the phone with somebody from Charles Schwab, my bank guy.
Yeah.
I say, hey, just give me 1 second. So I opened the door and say, hey, what's up? So he pitched me solar. I say, hey, I'm
Oh,
opening a
wow.
solar company. Give me your number, and whenever I'm ready, I'm gonna recruit you. So he gave me his number, saved his contact, and I just kept talking. Say, hey, you're opening a solar company. I said, yes. Why? My best friend owns a solar company in California. I'm like, please put me in touch with him. So in the
Okay.
next couple of days, I was in California with my brother Juan, and
Hmm.
this company was Better Earth.
Oh, wow.
So we went there and we just, learned what they were doing, how they were doing, and we fell in love with their process. And that's when we came back and we started Blue Energy full force. And today we are where we are, and we've built what we've built over the years since 2019.
Wow, amazing. One thing that I've seen with entrepreneurs as they're building something is they're constantly being hit. Like the hits keep on coming, but they also keep persisting because, like, it's my belief that the game is only truly over when you put your hands up and you say it's over, right? You keep referencing all God's plan, trusting in his plan, and obviously just believing and betting on yourself to be included in that plan to keep playing the game, right? Did you ever reach a moment where you felt like you had truly made it as an entrepreneur, or has it still been like a constant game of like chasing a particular level of success?
I think that as a business owner, entrepreneur, whenever you say I've made it, I think that's when you stop and you stop growing.
Oh, really?
I think that's how I feel, you know. I mean, for me, I don't think I still have made it, you know, like, yeah, I've been able to accomplish amazing things, you know, I've been able to help a lot of people to accomplish great things and help their families and so on. But for me, it's just the ball has to keep rolling, you know. I can't stay stagnant because once I stay stagnant, I feel that I'm not growing. And if I feel that I'm not growing, I just don't feel true to myself, you know. For
Hmm.
me, I have this feeling or this call that if I'm alive, I have only one life. I have only one shot. Why not going after it and just be great as you
Hmm.
can? Hey,
Hmm.
be as great as you can. Help as many people as you can. Be a good person. Like you only have one shot. Why not taking advantage of it? So for
Hmm.
me, like I can never say I've made it. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to look back and say, wow, like good job. You give yourself that pat. You give yourself that pat,
Yeah,
but it's like you gotta keep moving and keep looking forward always.
sure. Yeah, it's my belief that you have to constantly be innovating and creating what the game is going to be, even when you reach that level of success. You have to now go for 2, 3, 10x that accomplishment because you're right. Stagnancy is what occurs once you're complacent with where you've gone or you feel like you've truly made it. I'm curious for you, do you feel like in order to make it in business, you have to go 100% all in to business and that is your sole focus? You have to shut out other aspects of your life?
I mean, other aspects of your life for sure suffer. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices for sure. I don't want to say that you have to shut them off, but they will suffer like your family time for sure. Quality time for them, it's something that suffers a lot. I don't want to say that once you get to a certain point that you can actually take some time off or delegate a lot of things will give you more time with your loved ones. But yeah, I think you if you are trying to grow something, you have to be fully invested in, to fit in and
Hmm.
just dive with it, you know. uh, I speak for myself and I know another other business owners are are the same as me. Like we don't have, you know, working hours. Like we work 24/7. For
Hmm.
me, sometimes I'm like, when the kids are sleeping, my wife's sleeping, I'm literally thinking I can't shut off my mind. I'm like, what if we do this? What if we do that? You know what? Let me go to my computer. So I come to my office here and I start working on a certain document. And sometimes my wife like will come and say, hey, where are you? It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, I'm in the office. What are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I know I'm working on it. So it's kind of like we're built with this mindset that at least for me comes pretty natural. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's hard to shut it off, to shut it down. And for sure, you know, I do sacrifice a lot of time. Things that I wish I wasn't sacrificing much, but unfortunately comes with the career that I've chosen.
Hmm. Sure. Is Blue Energy, would you say that's your most successful venture to date?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And was it an easy ride for you? Did things come naturally? You mentioned obviously learning the ropes a bit in California with Better Earth. So I'm curious what that journey was like.
So what we learned with Better Earth was more like the culture that they had, the sales culture, or kind of a little bit of the structure they had with sales. That's what we took with us. But with Blue Energy has been, learning a lot of things. I never had a business that we sold $10 million in 1 month. And before that, and then when you see that kind of money, and then also you say like, okay, I now have this huge pipeline, this huge liability, these huge things, and there are a lot of adaptability and a lot of learning that has to be made. Before solar, I didn't know a lot of things about electricity that I had to learn.
Mm,
And the one thing is that for me, it's like the way I build businesses and build things is like, hey, I'm going to start, because once you start, you're going to start learning. So I might not know a lot of things today, but don't doubt that I will learn them pretty soon.
mhm.
So it's just like a baby, like baby steps. That's how I build my businesses. Hey, it's better done than just waiting for something.
Yeah, it's better to start messy than to wait to start perfect and never start at all.
I think Mark Zuckerberg said something like it's better done than perfect, something like within those lines. Yeah. So
Sure.
and it's true. Like you're saying, start.
Hmm. How have you grown as a leader throughout these various businesses? What did you come to find to know about yourself as a leader?
Uh, I changed a lot. I want to say I've changed a lot throughout the years. I've I don't know. My mom taught me, that being a good guy is always good business, but I confuse with that motto with being a good guy and being a nice guy. You know, I want to say at the beginning of the business, I was very nice to absolutely everyone. Very accommodating to a lot of things that today I regret. At
Mm,
some point. But yeah, I've changed a lot. Like I've learned a lot of things, and the only way to learn is to make mistakes. And
mhm,
one thing that I do is just like, okay, I made a mistake. This happened to me. This will not happen again.
mhm,
As business owners, we get stabbed in the back. There are many things that the people underneath us or within the business will never find out that are happening. But it's just like us, our role is kind of like being a dad. You never want to your kid know everything that you're going through. So
definitely
it's
not.
just yeah, it's just a lot of things, man. I've changed a lot as a leader. Like now, before I used to say yes to absolutely everything. Hey Roberto, I want to meet with you. I say yes, of course. Hey Roberto, let me show you my business plan. Yes. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I don't have time right now for absolutely nothing. Like, I have one goal. I'm focused on doing these things, and this is what I'm doing. Like, my friends, my family, they get my time off work, and then of course, I have really good relationships with people outside of work. But now I've learned to say no a lot to things that before I used to say yes. And yeah, I'm just standing within my foundations and the things that I truly believe in, and just not get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, leading up to this talk, you had mentioned that something you want to share in terms of a topic has been adaptability. And I'm curious to know, why is that such an important topic to you? And what would you want to impart to our listeners?
Just adaptability is so important in every single business aspect, because everything is constantly changing. You know, every 4 years we might have a new president that might change policies that might affect your business. For example, in the solar industry, we've been in this solar coaster for the past 5 years. We've had great years, then we had horrible years, good years. So to adapt to things is the only way you will survive. So when I say you have to have a good adaptability and learn how to adapt to things, it's because it's you have either your path that goes to the left or your path that goes to the right. So you have to learn how to make decisions rather than
Mm.
just um, be on your desk and just be complaining about everything that's happening around you and not finding a solution. So I want to say, it's to adapt is the only way you can grow and actually solve problems. My dad, I remember my dad telling me this like years ago. Maybe I was like the 15 or 16 years old. I remember at that time, like people were complaining about this president in Ecuador and like, oh, things are not going good and they keep getting bad and stuff. And I do remember asking my dad, what do you think about this? And he said, I could care less who's the president. I could care less who's this and that. The only thing that I care is about my goal. And yeah, if tomorrow I have tariffs that go from 20% to 50%, I just need to find a way to solve that problem. I don't have time to, saying, oh, F these, F these, or F that, like they should do that. I don't have time to complain. The only time that I have is to solve this problem, adapt, and just keep moving forward. So that kind of mentality set a tone for me, and that's what I apply in my life, and I also apply within my businesses.
Were there any moments where things didn't go according to plan and you had to completely pivot?
Oh, 100%. Like I haven't been paid millions of dollars. Maybe like at this date in the past 5 years, people haven't paid me like over $8 million, and that's just
Wow.
literally net profit that I've lost. So I mean, it's a lot of money. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we get attacked from everywhere, and it's just I just can't give up. Like whenever things have gotten pretty bad or pretty dark, I look back and I look down and I see all these people that believe in the company, believe in myself, my brother, or the owners, and it's just like, okay, I'm not just doing this just for myself and for my family. I'm doing it for their families as well.
Hmm.
So it's hard to be an owner. It's hard to be a leader, but it rewards, and it also comes with it's big sacrifices.
Absolutely. What would you think would be the main thing that separates those that adapt well and those that don't?
Uh, I think it's mindset, 100%. Is how you let your emotions control the moment. How you perceive the news or how you perceive the moment, and how you let your emotions contribute to your decisions. For
Hmm.
example, you asked me how have I changed as a leader, and I'm gonna give you this example. Before, I used to make decisions like this, quick on the spot. I thought that
Mm.
was what leaders were supposed to do, like make quick decisions. But there are a lot of things that it's okay to take a day or two to make a decision. Of
Mm.
course, there are things that you have to be quick about them, but sometimes emotions can take over your mind, and you can
Mhm.
make a wrong decision. So one thing that I've learned is just to be patient.
Mm.
If I'm very frustrated about something and I'm about to pull the trigger on something, I've learned that, hey, let me sleep on this, and if tomorrow I wake up with the same feeling, then I have to trust my gut. But if
Mm.
tomorrow I'm calm about this, I might be able to think it better.
Mm.
So that's something that I've learned now to the decision making.
Totally. What would you say to someone that maybe believes, when time enters into making a decision, you can maybe get scared or back off or still make an emotional decision when maybe that uncomfortable decision was actually the right one?
I mean, I want to say you always have to trust your gut.
Hmm.
I mean, you have to always trust what you believe in. Like when I say like, oh, I'm a good guy. Yes, I'm a good guy, but I believe on things that are my foundations. And if the decision has to be made based on that, even if it's awkward or it's painful, unfortunately, I have to go with what I believe in.
Hmm.
So it's not to making irrational decisions. It's a thing of just being patient.
So knowing your values, knowing your compass direction of where you're wanting to head, and really lining those decisions up against that code or
For
that
sure.
plan.
I want
Yeah.
to say every time I've gone against my values and the things that I believe in, just to, I don't know, see if it works, I would say it cost me double or triple of what if I would have done it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, yeah, just always trust your instinct, always trust your God, because you believe in something and you know what your goals are, and that's aligned with your decision. That will always be aligned with your decisions. You know.
Absolutely. Well, Roberto, I've loved talking with you and having you share your insights. I'd love to hit you with the rapid fire segment of the interview, ask you some questions, and just first thing that comes to your mind, see what you have to say on them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Biggest mistake entrepreneurs make?
Making emotional decisions.
Okay. Most underrated leadership skill?
To learn to be patient and be able to read the room the right way.
Mm-hmm. Best investment you've made in yourself?
I want to say my family. I didn't know that my biggest dream was actually to have kids and have a family. And you know, I'm married to a beautiful wife, somebody that supports me very much. Also, my mom, my dad, my siblings. But one thing that I do give it to my wife that it actually helps me on my business career is that she's straight sure. You know, she calls bullshit
Mm,
when she sees it, and I was never used to that, and now actually, you know, I like it. You know, because it challenges me for sure, and it keeps me on my rails.
absolutely. Yeah, the partner you choose to marry is one of the most important decisions, not just from the standpoint of who you spend your life with, but all the decisions you're going to make, how you operate together. It completely changes the trajectory of your life.
So
What do you feel great leaders do differently?
they just never quit. They never stop moving. They just keep innovating, keep looking for better things, keep looking for what's the next thing. How do we get bigger? How do we get better? How do
Hmm.
we, you know, it's just a never stop moving mindset, you know. And for
Hmm.
me, is most of the leaders or the great leaders have that winning mentality. Winners win, period.
Hmm. And what would you say is one power move that changed your life? The one thing you did?
Uh what I told you before, just analyzing everything that was going through my life,
Hmm.
putting an end to that, and just saying today's the first day for the rest of my life, and just
Hmm.
working my ass off, blood, sweat, and
Hmm.
tears, just moving forward, investing 100% on myself, and just trusting 100% of myself on myself.
Hmm.
I
And
can't
if
remember
you
who said it.
could,
I want to thank me, myself. You know, I can't remember which artist is the one who said all that, but it's true.
uh
You know?
yeah.
It's just when the day that you learn that you're by yourself and no one's here to save you is the day that
Hmm.
you will learn that you have to work no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah. And if you could sit down with that version of yourself as he's in that airport waiting to move to the US, what would you say to him?
Ah, everything's gonna be all right.
I would
Yeah,
say so.
yeah, everything's gonna be all right. Trust me. I was going through a lot of emotions. You know, I told you I could not pack my bag. I could not pack my bag. You know, every piece that I put inside that bag, I would cry so much.
Wow.
But yeah, I want to say like everything will be all right. Like you got this.
Well, Roberto, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's an absolute inspiration, and this is exactly why I do these podcast episodes is to share these stories because entrepreneurship can be a very lonely road. It can feel like the most tough, brutal thing there is, and I don't feel like that is incorrect. It is absolutely the toughest thing to pursue in your life is to bet on yourself and really go for it. But I appreciate you saying an example of someone that did bet on himself, persisted through it, all the sorts of obstacles, and making something of it. So thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me here, Alex.
Bye.